Hey there, Nate Schneider here with the AV Shop Talk podcast and YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Dante Via, which is a new software offering from Audinate. So if you've been in the Pro AV world for the last few years, you've heard of this new digital audio format called Dante Via. Called Dante. And Dante Via is a software that you install on a Mac or a PC, and basically it allows your Mac or your PC to become part of your Dante network. So more and more manufacturers are jumping on board and including Dante inputs and outputs, or I guess I should say, Ethernet connectivity rather. It's not. It can be inputs and outputs coming through the same port. So to call them inputs and outputs maybe isn't the right way to talk about it. But essentially, you're going to have Dante in a lot of equipment these days, from DSPs to mixers to input cards, output cards, all kinds of things. So it's definitely a trend, a growing trend in the industry. And now Dante Via will allow you to include your computers as part of your Dante network, which is pretty cool. So it's going to give you, the ability to route audio to and from many different places, and it's computer-based audio. So applications to devices, devices to applications, and what I think is pretty interesting is the ability to route applications to applications over a Dante network. So and this is all over standard networking equipment. So I'm going to get into a little bit about my Dante environment specifically. You can see I've got on my screen. You can see I've got some of the versions that I'm running. So I'm running an iMac with Yosemite version 10.10.5. And the other important thing here is I'm just going to click over to this tab. I had to install Java for OS 10 2015-001. So the Java download is important to make Dante Via work properly. And the version of Dante Via is version 0.6.10.1. And this is a software that I believe will be available for purchase very soon. This is the full disclosure here. This is a free version that I have been issued to test out. So they sent me this to kind of put it through its paces and see what it can do. And I am very happy to do that because this looks like a very exciting product. So I'm going to be setting up a nice little test here and routing a bunch of audio from my laptop, my PC, which is sitting right next to me, to my iMac. So where were we? And the other thing you need to do is, in addition to making sure you've got the right, a compatible version of the Mac OS and the Java, you're going to need Dante Controller. So I'm running Dante Controller version 3.6.2.4, and that was a free download. And so that pretty much sums up the Mac environment. And then on the PC side, I've got my PC right here. And no need to hold it up for you. I've got a laptop sitting right here. And I'm running Windows 7 Professional. And the other important thing that you need to make sure you download is the .NET Framework version 4.5. So if you don't have those things, I think some odd things can happen. So I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that right at the front end of this video, just to make sure you've got all those compatibility downloads and installs happening before you start playing around, because I've been messing around with Dante Via for about 2 weeks now. And just whenever I get an hour here, an hour there, I poke around and I try new things. So the last thing I want to mention is I am using just a regular over the off the shelf wireless router as my switch, basically, to connect my Mac to my PC. So this is like a 2-year-old Buffalo Airstation AC 1300 gigabit router. And for the purposes of this test, I have unplugged all my other devices that I'd normally have connected to this. I have other things connected to the Wi-Fi still, but the physical Ethernet ports are limited right now to just the iMac and just the PC here, just for the purposes of testing. I didn't want anything else to impact it. Though you know, I don't think that's a problem. I think you can have other network traffic happening at the same time, but I didn't want anything else to impact my test here. So I've got a bunch of applications running on my Windows computer. Let me close this window here. Let me open up Dante right now. So right down here you can see ISM Lap 68. So these are, I've got Google Chrome running, I've got Skype, Windows Media Player, Internet Explorer, iTunes, and Amazon Music. And I've got media all queued up and ready to go in all these different applications. And as you can see, well, before we get too far into this, let me minimize this. There's a lot to see here. We'll just kind of close everything down and look at this piece by piece. So the first thing I probably should talk about. So if you go into the preferences here, just giving you a quick walkthrough of what happens the first time you see Dante. You've got some general preferences here. You could stop Dante from running. You can have some default, default device here. Your privacy settings. You know, you might want to get a little notification before allowing permission for sources and receivers. And you've got, like, you know, if you're on multiple networks, you can pick the one you want. But let me close Dante for a minute right now. Open it back up, because when you log on for the first time, you see a little helpful screen. Now, if you're watching this video, you're probably using Dante for the first time, so you probably want to see this little screen right here. And oh, that's funny, it showed up down here in the wrong window. I'm not sure why I did that. But anyway, so basically these are your now that I minimized everything, it all opened up again, but that's not a big deal. So your sources are on the left and your destinations are on the right. And this is a drag and drop environment here, so you can drag the sources to destinations to route your audio, and you've got to click Enable Dante to expose a source or destination on the Dante network. So if you want something to go invisible, you just uncheck that box and it disappears. And then to send a source to a software application, drag it to the 2-channel application input, and then configure the application to use Dante Via. So that is actually how you're hearing my audio right now. So we should probably just start right there. So I've got this microphone, just so you know, is connected to a 12-channel Mackie mixer. And then that is sending a line output to the 3.5 millimeter input of my iMac. So that is how you're hearing me right now. And that is the built-in input. So I have drag that input right over here to the 2-channel application input. And I'm using a software, an application called Screencast-O-Matic to record what you're seeing right now. And I basically set the input of Screencast-O-Matic to look at whatever is being fed to Dante Via. So that is essentially the 2-channel application input. So that's how you're hearing me right now. So I'm actually already using Dante Via. And you didn't even know it. So now, just to do a test, I could count to I could count to 6. And if I click this X right here on 3 and I continue counting, you will no longer hear me. So I'll just do a quick little test right here just to prove what I'm up to here. So go ahead. 1, 2, 3. And now I've went ahead and I made that route again, so you can see an example of how you drag and drop. I just went and grabbed the built-in input and dragged it down to the 2-channel application input, and hopefully, fingers crossed, you're hearing my voice right now. I won't know till I go back and listen for sure, because I'm also monitoring everything from the built-in output, which is feeding my little earbuds right now. So I trust that you heard my audio drop out and then come back in again. That's what I was trying to go for. So, yeah, let's go right down the line right now. So if you wanted, let's say you wanted to hear the built-in input of my iMac, I could I could drag this over here, and now you can hear not only the audio coming through this mic, but you can hear, this built-in input on my iMac, and my audio is probably going to sound pretty weird, and you'll probably hear some phasing. So I don't want to keep that. I want that to go away, and you can hear some even worse audio. I mean, this little C920, this Logitech USB camera is pretty. It's a pretty handy little camera, but the audio quality isn't that great. So you're probably going to hear some really funny audio quality right now as I route that right here, and I can kind of go like that. And you can hear my fingers making those noises, but you don't want to hear that, so I'll get rid of that. I could route audio from my Motu Firewire interface. Yes, I still use Firewire. I bought this 8-channel interface. Although if I routed this, I'm not going to route it because basically it'll be a duplicate of the same audio here because I've got audio routed into channels 1 and 2 of that Firewire interface. And we've got GarageBand, we've got Google Chrome. If I was playing a YouTube video here, we could route Google Chrome in, we could route Safari in, Screencast-O-Matic we could route there if we wanted to. But what I think is really cool is we get down here to via devices. So this little section, this is really the power of Dante Via, and this is what I'm interested in, is sending audio over the network from one application to another application on different devices on the Dante network. So, and we haven't looked at Dante Controller yet. We should look at that. Actually, before we start routing these sources, it might be a good time to take a look at Dante Controller. So if I expand all this, you can kind of see what's happening in the background. So these are all the transmitters up at the top. We've got Dante transmitters. And if I turn my head sideways, I can see Google Chrome. And this is under the ISM laptop. So you can see Google Chrome. You can see Internet Explorer, Amazon Music, etc., etc., etc. And then over here, you can see the transmitters on the iMac. And then over here, you can see the receivers on the Windows machine. And you can see the receivers on the iMac. So right now, I'm routing a lot of stuff from to and from the, from, I guess you could say, so from the Windows PC to the iMac, because I've got all these transmitters here sending signal over here, and it's mostly going to the built-in output. So I can hear in my headphones right now audio that's coming off of that. But I want you to hear them in this screen recording. So how might I do that? I need to set up some more routes. So what I need to do, let me just hide that, is I need to route more audio to this 2-channel application input. So the first thing I want to do is, maybe bring iTunes. So I'm going to route audio from my Windows machine down here, and I'm going to bring iTunes up here. And of course, Dante Controller will be minimized again because the routing has changed. And now you're not going to hear anything until I push play. So if I go down here to iTunes on my laptop and I push play, you're going to hear probably the voice of Mika Riesling. I dug up some old episodes of AV Shop Talk.
We'll do the switching on the HDMI level. Okay, so the switcher will get the HDMI, extract HDMI, switching will be done.
All right, so that's a throwback to an old episode of AV Shop Talk there with Mika Riesling from the HD Base T line. So hopefully, I trust that you heard that. The next thing, let's say we wanted to route Windows Media Player from my Windows PC through the Dante network up to the 2-channel input to hear this in this very YouTube video. I'd make that route. I'd go over here, and who are we going to hear now? So this is our new voiceover. So we're getting some a new voiceover now that Jason's moved to Colorado. We got our voiceover talent, John Perry, to update, and he's a real on-air talent down in Connecticut. So he's actually on the radio a couple times a week. But anyway, let's take a listen.
This is where the AV pros come to talk shop with your hosts, Nate Schneider and Jason Griffin.
All right, that's just a little clip from our new voiceover there. Now, next thing, let's see if I wanted to route, let's see if Amazon Music works. Let's route Amazon Music up there. And here you're going to hear a clip from Beyond Surround Sound with Chris Boylan. We had him on to talk about all these new 3D immersive audio formats that are trying to establish themselves in the marketplace there. And he writes for Chris Boylan writes for Big Picture Big Sound. That's his website. Oh, of course, this is early on in the episode. Let me skip around.
Yeah, it is true. If he had asked me maybe 6 months ago, I would have said there were two.
Oh, wow.
Because so Dolby came into theaters, I think it was May.
All right, so there we go. We got Amazon Music to happen up there. Now let's see if we want to route Internet Explorer. Let's bring that up there. What clip do I have from Internet Explorer? I think I've got a YouTube video. This should be Brad Camp talking.
That are a little more roped in as far as what products they work with and what products they don't. But Hiji is unbiased. Basically talks to.
All right, and the next thing I got here is Chrome. Let's see if we can hear Chrome over the Dante network there, going from application to application here. And what clip do I have here? I've got Rob Gerhart here of the Gerhart Group.
Range, and it enables you to charge realistically probably an extra $35 to $45.
And he's talking about RMR and recurring revenue and all that fun stuff. Now, this is another. I'm not sure how this will come up, but this is one more thing I wanted to test out here. I wanted to route Skype over here because I think podcasters specifically can take advantage of Dante Via for recording Skype calls in various ways. So what I've done is I'm just going to do a Skype call test, and the levels might not quite be right here because I'm just doing some real rough testing. I haven't really set any levels or anything like that. So let's call up Skype and see what happens.
Hello, welcome to Skype call testing
Hello.
service. After the beep, please record a message. Afterwards, your message will be played back to you.
Hello, this is Nate Schneider from AV Shop Talk, testing out Dante Via over my Dante environment. Oh, this is Nate Schneider from AV Shop Talk, testing out Dante Via over my Dante environment. All right. It appears as though Skype has worked.
If you are able to hear your own voice,
Let's
then you
hang
have
out. Okay, so that was a good little test there to get audio going not only over Dante Network but from a Mac to a PC, which is pretty cool. So now let's take a look at our routing table here. So we've got you can see all these different routes happening. So it is very flexible. You can do a lot with this. Definitely a nice tool to have in your tool belt. I'm trying to think if there's any other tests I can do to demonstrate this. I do have a microphone here. This is a USB microphone that's connected to the Windows PC. So another thing I could do is I can find that microphone. Where'd that guy go? Oh, you know what? I didn't enable him. So this is another thing. So right now, this USB microphone is not enabled. So if I click enable, you should see that pop up right about now. Yeah, there it is. So this microphone just popped up, and I'm gonna hold it right here. And if I route this microphone over to the 2-channel input, There you go. So you should be hearing my voice right now from this microphone. It's probably going to sound a little bit weird, but it should give you a good idea of what Dante Via can do. So anyway, this has been a first look at Dante Via from Audinate. I hope you have found this video helpful, but definitely let me know how you are going to use Dante Via. Love to hear from you. You know, if you're a live sound person, maybe you work in some sort of production environment, or I'm not sure. You know, there's all kinds of different uses. Like I said before, I think podcasters could really use this. I plan on, you know, using it in my podcast workflow, or at least trying some things out. I think there's a lot of potential for it. So definitely a very cool product. Love to know your thoughts on it. Definitely let me know what you think. And if you're interested in anything you heard, kind of, you know, oh, geez, you know what? I didn't allow it. So you probably, I just saw that. So there's this notification that comes up to either allow permission or not allow permission. It's like that safety feature. So I hadn't clicked allow. So I don't know if before, when I was holding this microphone up, you probably weren't actually hearing the audio from this microphone. Hopefully now you're hearing it. But yeah, so that's another feature, which is a good feature to have. But like I said before, you can set it to automatically accept things like that. But you may not have heard my audio from before. But oops, oh well. Anyway, as I was saying, if you're interested in some of the content that you heard, kind of these short clips that were played, AV Shop Talk is a monthly podcast, new episodes the first of every month. Check them out at avshoptalk.com. And thanks for watching.